Hello and welcome once again to Blackpool. More great action coming your way from the Foster's World 8-Ball Pool Championships. This week, though, it's something rather different, as I'm sure you've noticed already. It's the final of the team event, the men's team final between the holders England and Australia, the might of Australia. So really, it's the Ashes all over again. With me here in the studio, Keith Brewer, former international. Keith, first of all, 24 years in a row you've been playing for England. This year you're in the box with me. Why is that?
Yeah, I didn't make it back through the trials, actually, at the start of this year, so I've got to wait another year to try and get back in the team.
Let's talk about this event. It's fun, but it's very serious at the same time. Let's have a look at the two teams and just see the quality of the players who will be on display in this team event.
Yes, for sure. Well, with England, of course, full of world-class players. We've got the likes of Adam Davis, Gareth Potts, Lee Kendall, etc. Ben Flack, who's, of course, won the World Masters as well.
Right.
Fantastic side. Australia. Well, there's probably a little bit more unknown with some of us, but we've got Mark Williams, who's been here before, captaining a very strong team. They've proved what quality side they are by making the final once again, and I think it gives a true international flavour to the event as well. The
fact is that England are the defending champions. Are they the favourites to hold on to the title?
Well, for sure. England will always start favourites, really, no matter what team that they field. Today, yes, they're going to start favourites, but, you know, it's only a race to 8, and if Australia can kind of get off to a very good start, put England under pressure, well, you never know what can happen.
They've got plenty of support. Both sides have got great support, but the Aussies in particular have got the cheerleaders in.
Sure, if the tournament was about being loud, Australia would win this one hands down, I think.
And the great thing, too, is it's got a real international flavour, more than a dozen countries from around the world. Even Uganda, I mean, it's astonishing, the support for this event.
Very popular 8-ball now. It's getting more popular every year. More countries are taking part, and the event's going from strength to strength.
Now, just briefly, how do you think this is all going to go? Because are England going to just steamroller the opposition, or is it going to be a battle all the way?
Well, I'd like to think the Aussies are going to put up a really good fight, you know what I mean? Because it's like you said, it's the Ashes all over again, isn't it? So there's a lot at stake. But let's face it, England will start the mega favourites.
Keith, there, we've got to leave it. The atmosphere's building here in the studio. Now let's join our commentary team, led, as ever, by Jim White.
Well, the customary formalities having gone by the wayside now, we get to the action, the World Team event. The ever-present and powerful England being challenged by this youthful and exuberant Australian side. Frame number 1, it's a best of 15, and we're in action. There's the Aussies. You'll hear a lot of noise from them. This really does promise to be the pressure cooker, a big-time pool. And I'm very pleased to say that joining us in the comm box, as always, Sean Baker, and we've got a very special guest making her way to give her expert opinion, herself being very familiar with team events on the Scottish side. Lynette Horsburgh, welcome, Lynette. It's great to have you here, and talk about the pressure involved in team event pool.
Yeah, well, not necessarily the best players in the world are the best. Not necessarily the best players in the world are the best team players. It's actually one frame pool, so it's a different kind of game. You're not necessarily taking the shots on that you would when you're playing for yourself in singles event.
Yeah, and certainly a great start here for Australia. They won the lag. James Delahunty, he's come to the table, and he's had a good break-off shot, potted 2 yellows, and now he's got a finish on these yellows. In normal circumstances, you'd say this is a straightforward finish, but this is not normal circumstances. This is the final of the World Team Championship.
Yeah, and until you've represented your country and played in a team event, you can't possibly appreciate the pressure that these guys are under. Adam Davis, nothing he can do. He's had to shake hands, lost the initial lag. And the son of Mick Delahunty,
30 seconds.
One of the former Aussie captains, looking to get Australia off to a flyer here in the opening frame. So important, isn't it, Lynette, to get off the mark, get the noise happening, especially for Australia?
Oh yeah, this is a firing start from James, and it's so important to get the first frame, settle the nerves, and really get the noise up really in the crowd.
He plays at his dad's club in Adelaide. His dad's partner, Alec Evernatis, another very familiar name from the Aussie side, but he's underhit that one. That's not ideal position on that yellow.
Yeah, I think it was the previous shot to that, Jim. He got in the wrong position. He wanted to be drawing straight back, and he couldn't do. So what he's had to do is try to force it off the bottom rail and back up. Still not ideal, but he has a shot at the black.
Yeah, under a lot of heat out there. His teammates and country watching. This is a solid performance to start Australia off here. This 8 to open their account. He gets it. James Delahunty gets the Aussies off the mark. 1-0, the opening frame over England. The race to 8 has begun. High fives all around. Dream start for the Aussies.
Exactly that, Jim. Lynette, that was just exactly what the Australians needed there, wasn't it? Probably settled some of those early nerves for the team.
Well, that's it, yeah. You want to make an early start, especially against the England squad. I mean, they've won it so many times, but they've certainly sent a message to them. They're fired up this morning.
Neil Toms and England. The break in frame number 2.
Yeah, Neil Toms, one of the new players to this England World Championship side this year. He's another club owner from Hertfordshire, and wasn't the greatest split there. Seemed to be a little bit of power lacking on that break, Lynette.
Yeah, Mark's taken to the table, actually. Mark started off as a snooker player and used to practice with Eddie Charlton, a great legend in the game.
A very dear friend of mine passed away a couple of years ago. Steady Eddie. Well, if he's played with him and he's got anywhere near the mental makeup that Charlton possessed, look out. Eddie Charlton actually played in the first World Championships of this event.
Wow. How did he get on then, Jim?
Well, he played. Different sport. Eddie was a great Cuban.
I actually practiced with Eddie Charlton at 9-ball.
Oh, nice shot there from Mark Williams. He certainly wasn't going for the pot. I don't think he was just taking control of this frame, taking control of that corner pocket. Just develop the yellow across to the bottom left-hand corner pocket as well, as we see. And he's got Neil Toms in a little bit of trouble here.
Mark Williams isn't really well known for playing safety, though, is he, Sean?
No, he's quite an attacking player, Mark, but like I say, he just feels probably after that split of the balls, it wasn't really the time to attack yet. Nice shot there from Neil Toms. And Australia made the way, as you say, Jim, to this this final, defeating Wales in the semi-final. That nail-biter. They actually came through a playoff before that. They beat Malta 11-6 in that playoff, having finished 5th in the group stages. The top 2 get automatically through to the semi-finals, and the next 4 teams play off for a place in the semi-finals.
Yes, exactly. In Australia, I mean, they do have the element of surprise somewhat in this year's event. So many new faces, all the regulars not making the long trek to the UK for this event this year, and yeah, we see there, Jim, that was the Australian team. And I had a little chat with Phil Dando, who's been the ever-present team manager of the Australian men's section. And I just jokingly said to him, I said, a lot of the old faces are missing. He said, yeah, we've got a few new guys in. I said, well, let's hope they're play as well or better than their previous counterparts. And they've obviously proved that by making their way through to this final. Still a bit of cat and mouse going on. As yet to be determined what role Australia is playing. But they certainly do appear to have control of the bottom half of the table as it sits. Mind you, as we've seen so often in this game, it can change in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, I think Neil Toms is going to be looking maybe to take the red down and try and control that bottom left-hand corner pocket we saw on the overhead a minute ago.
Yeah, I think we'll see him cover this bag now. He needs a good shot here to take control of the game.
I'm not so sure he got in deep enough. He wanted to hang right over the pocket. There may just be room for that yellow. to squeak by, very close. But he had to guard against potting it. Oh, there you go. He didn't cover it.
Yeah, and as you said, Lynette, early in the frame, Mark Williams, not known for too much safety, and he's chosen to attack there.
Yeah, he's just got one bad ball now, and I think he'll try and develop it now, get the black and yellow in the centre of the table out. And he's also got the yellow over the other bag, so he's got like a trigger ball to fall back on.
Yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate.
That is the danger of trying to develop the ball. Some things go wrong.
Yeah, I thought he'd play it with a little bit more conviction, a little bit more pace.
Yeah, he's almost played just to drop on it, you know, and the balls were never going to split right. Yeah, the yellow would come out, and there was, as you say, there was always the danger the cue ball would get stuck behind that black.
I think they needed to hit it half ball. He actually hit it full in the face, and that's why he's behind this red now.
30 seconds.
Well, that's not a bad result, assuming this two-ball plant at the bottom end of the table isn't set for Neil. Australia, no strangers to the championship. Back in 1996, they actually won the team event.
I think Neil Tom's just asking for the rest here, so he maybe thinks that that plant is set that you alluded to, Jim.
Time running.
And if it is, this is a fantastic opportunity now for Neil Toms to level this game up.
I mean, it goes without saying that England would have come in as prohibitive favorites in this final. But it's one thing to have that favoritism set out on paper. It's another to produce it on the table.
Yeah, I mean, in the England side this year, there's one or two familiar faces missing. Our studio guest, Mr. Brewer, he's been out there many times to the England. Chris Mellon, not at this event, but a member of the England squad. So there's a few new faces in there. We see there Danny Miller in the middle, Dave Williams. They're the two of the newer faces with Neil Toms, who's out on the floor now. But they've won their right to be here. And if we look at the stats, it proves that they've performed well enough, Jim, and taken England to this final.
Well, this is a glorious opportunity, Lynette, isn't it, for Neil? I mean, those balls are all there to be taken. It's just dealing with the circumstances and controlling his emotion.
Yeah, I just think he has to hold his nerve here. Just take his time and take these balls out and get England on the score sheet.
As you say, nice measured approach here from Neil. You don't tend to see Neil rushing around the table. He normally nice measured control pool.
Yes, he'd like to leave that red over the center to last. It affords the easiest position to the 8. Almost looks like if he could drop straight on that red, leave himself a dead on 8 to the bottom left. That looks pretty good. Just stun the cue ball slowly towards the middle. And this should get England off the mark. And listen for the applause when this drops. England off the mark. Level pegging 1-1 against the Aussies. Frame number 4, Captain Lee Kendall up against Steve Saxon from Australia. 2-1 to England.
Super split there from Lee Kendall. I think he's made 2 reds.
And he is a very familiar face. Feels like Lee has been around for decades.
Yeah, just like our studio guest, Keith Brewer. Been an ever-present member of that England side. Certainly all the time I've been involved and come to these championships, I can't ever remember a time when Lee wasn't in the side.
Red ball's in play.
I think he must have been captain for at least 10 years now.
Lee's actually got a great opportunity. Lee Kendall's actually got a great opportunity here. The
30
Reds are
seconds.
looking really nice. There's actually no problem balls here. He's not got a lot of work to do, just to hold the white and make sure he keeps in position.
Yeah, just all about navigating his way around this bottom end of the table. Opting to take probably the trickiest red first that's up that end of the table. And that's what the top players do, Lynette, isn't it? They look to clear the balls from one end of the table and then move to the next area of work and then the next area.
That's right. I mean, it's not actually as easy as it looks, this finish. On these tables, the cloths are so super fine. It's fast. It's sliding you under the TV lights. It's not always as easy as it looks.
One good shot here from Lee Kendall. Put him in control.
That's why you're there and she's here.
Now I see that I think Lee will come off 2 cushions here for the remaining 2 reds.
Yeah, he's going to have to, because I think if he'd have got further down the table with the cue ball, Lynette, he could have flicked off the red and tried to get above the, between the yellow and the black.
Yeah, I think he just came a bit too far back actually, but it's 2 cushions and he should be perfect really. He's got a big area to aim for. And he's hit that nice.
That is ideal. Just softly screw back off the one red to leave the other to the same pocket. Just got to exercise a little care here, though. May even use that yellow as a buffer.
That's the shot that I would play. I'd just hold it on that yellow.
Oh, he's missed it. He's overdrawn it. That was careless from Lee.
Total snooker.
Yeah, so now he's going to have to find a safety shot where he doesn't leave Steve Saxon an opportunity. You see there Steve sat in his chair just waiting for his chance. No sign of emotion on that face.
Who would believe that Lee Kendall would do that shot?
30 seconds.
John's just gotten out of his chair. Or sorry, Steve just gotten out of his chair.
Yellow ball's in play.
So Steve Saxon now with an opportunity to bring Australia back into this match. I mean, I wouldn't say there was a finish there at this moment in time, but they're certainly open.
Well, I didn't see that shot on.
No, I don't think anybody saw that shot, Lynette. Not even Steve Saxon. And he was the one holding the cue. We'll see there. He's flicked off. The yellow's going round. Another little flick off the cue ball and in the middle pocket.
See, this is a problem that we were talking about earlier. If you go for a finish, you have to finish, because if you leave one ball left, then you're going to be in all sorts of trouble here. Lee Kendall knows that he's in trouble now, and he can only pull off a miracle really
Total
here.
snooker.
Yeah, it's going to be the heave-ho, isn't it, Lynette? That's his only real saving grace. He needs to get lucky.
To be fair, I think he's just trying to drop on it, because he doesn't want to move that cube, that red, out of the way of those, certainly 2 of those yellows that he's blocking.
But this is a similar sort of frame to the previous one where Gareth Potts had control. This time, it's Steve Saxon that has the vice grip on Lee Kendall.
That's right, but this is a frame that definitely Lee Kendall, it was a straightforward clearance for Lee Kendall. You wouldn't normally see him overscrew a ball and snooker himself like that. It's just, there's so many twists and turns to this game.
Total
Lee
snooker.
Kendall now faced with the similar shot that he had before. And in the end, I think he might be forced to do something different here, because each time he nudges that red across, it'll free that pocket up that little bit more.
Foul.
That's the mistake. that Steve Saxon was looking for. 2 visits, and Kendall puts his cue down.
Yes, Steve Saxon was waiting there for his 2 shots or an opportunity to just step in and clear up. That red was actually covering them 2 yellows, so now he has got 2 shots, and you'll see him go game now. It's always nice to have 2 shots in the bag when you're going for a clearance. You know, it's one frame, you're cold on the table, you've got 2 shots now, and you can sort of relax.
He's still got a little bit of work to do here. He chose not to try and develop this problem area early. And the more balls he pots, the more difficult it will become, even with the 2 visits. And we say that the first mistake is missed the shot, trying to go for the development.
Second visit.
But again, this is the beauty of having all those colors on the table as opposed to Lee Kendall's 1 red. Doesn't have to attack.
I mean, that was a real rush of blood then. You know, he should never miss that yellow. That's just adrenaline pumping. But the thing is, because Lee's got this red right behind the yellow now, he can play around, he can toy with him, really.
.30 seconds.
Good shot.
Great shot, mate. Keep working.
Well, I think Lee's asked for a total snooker, and I don't think it is. I think you just get through to the edge of the red here. So you can't just come off the bottom rail and drop onto it.
He played that really well, actually. He could have left a lot of damage there, and he's played as good a shot as he could have.
Yeah, left that red exactly where it was and just moved the yellow out up the table. And Steve hasn't got a shot.
He's actually applied quite a bit of pressure back to Steve Saxon now.
Has he given Lee half a chance at a double, or is the double available?
I'm not sure, Jim. That yellow appears to be possibly blocking the path to the middle pocket.
Looks very close even from that camera angle to where the yellow would go into the cushion.
.30 seconds.
Come on, mate. Come on.
He's played a clever shot there because he's not left Steve Saxon with anything easy. I think he might have also wanted the red, though, to come out a little bit further towards the other yellow.
I mean, Lynette, if you're in this sort of situation, would you not want to just try and keep that red in the middle of the table to at least keep the pressure on your opponent?
Certainly, yeah. He could actually see the yellow there. So now he's got the perfect opportunity to pot this yellow and go up the table. If he happened to miss, the red is behind in line with the black. So he's leaving a snooker on. So it takes all the pressure off the finish.
I would have thought Lee might have been better served to just bump that red into the middle of the table, and if nothing else, throw the gauntlet down to Steve Saxon, force him to try and clear up.
He'll play this yellow in the bottom bag now, and he'll play it probably about towards the blue spot, so that if he did miss, the black's covering the red, and he's perfect on the yellow.
That miss proved crucial to Lee Kendall, and it allowed Australia to step in and level accounts. 2-2. The race to 8. Nothing between these two.
Now we see there high fives all the way down the line. Missing somebody out, but going back for it. He knows that was a big, big frame in the early stages of this final. As you say, Australia, if they'd have gone 3-1 down there, Lynette, you know, the pressure would have started to mount.
That's right. It's a really important frame. It's a real boost for them, 2-all. They're keeping with them, and it's their advantage now. It's their break.
Brent Reed on the right, representing Australia. Gareth Hibbett on the left for England. There's the mistake from Lee Kendall, the one that proved so costly. He never really got his eye back in again. Captain Mark Williams with the glasses, center picture. Well, he's pretty happy. His side is giving England a tussle.
Australia to break. 2 frames all.
So Brent Reed with the break. He'd like to park Gareth Hibbett in his chair. Frame number 5.
Yeah, now the noise levels have gone up in the arena. The Aussie supporters and teammates have found their voices.
That's something England knew. They had to try and, you know, keep them quiet. They had to secure the early frames, hold momentum, and silence the Australian fan base. Easier said than done.
Yellow ball's in play.
30 seconds.
Well, Brent's doing exactly the right thing here, just taking his time. First time out on the TV table. Strange shot there. If he was trying to cover the pocket, he was a long way away from doing that.
I can't quite understand that shot, Sean. I think that it's got to be down to nerves, that.
When you know you're coming out for one frame and you want to get value, though, you don't really want to go out and lose it in one mistake. And you want to prolong your time out there, give yourself a chance to settle in.
And he's playing a man with loads of experience at that TV table. He's a 2008 World semi-finalist. Just losing out to Jason Twist in a titanic battle. Gareth Hibbett saying lots of experience.
He certainly has. Going back to that, getting your value for money, really, in the team games.
Well, just sorry, Lynette, but he's given 2 visits away there. He's come off the bottom rail, hit the red, and then nothing's hit the cushion afterwards.
A chance for Gareth. That was a careless mistake. This time from Brent Reed. Now, will the punishment come? He won't be happy with that effort. He hasn't even got the red inside the yellow, and I think that was the intent.
Yeah, but he's going to have another go at here, Jim, because he's got a red that we see on the overhead there. It's closest to. You can just roll that down the rail and take that pocket.
Yeah, but surely when you had 2 visits coming to the table, he would have wanted to make an impact. He really hasn't done that.
Gareth Hibbett would have liked that a lot closer to the hole, actually. He would have liked that deeper in the pocket. He has actually left a bit of a gap for that yellow to go past.
Again, not a very good shot. He's done nothing to sway things in his favor. Right now, it's just a matter of which one of them breaks down first.
Certainly Gareth's in control of this frame still. He'll look at his opponent and he's seen a couple of bad shots from his opponent. So he's obviously thinking, well, he's nervous. I'm not nervous because I know what I'm doing. I've been out here before. And I'm just going to take my time, take control, and just wait for the chance.
And as the table sits right now, it looks like even the red behind the black will pass to the one corner once the other reds are removed. Again, a shot that basically was just mailed in. He hasn't covered the pocket.
I actually expected Gareth Hibbett to go game there. all the balls were on. If the red passes behind the black, the shot where he tried to cover the bag, he could have went game there, because the two balls at the bottom of the table, they both went at the time.
Well, I think they still do, innit? We can see just top right there, those two reds. I'm sure they both pass. We see the overhead there. Both passing to that bottom right-hand corner pocket as we look on the overhead. So one good shot here from Gareth Hibbert.
That was the red I alluded to earlier, so it was available, and now every chance for Gareth. In his mind, just weighing up in what order he wants to remove these reds.
I mean, on paper, Steve Saxon is the top performing Australian. He finished at the head of the rankings for them, winning 17 out of 29 frames, which at this level is a great achievement. Well, it's the transition onto the bigger 8x4 table. Maybe just undone him a little bit here.
Well, Gareth has certainly put his foot forward now, stepping on the gas. He's decided not to wait any longer. He's seen enough mistakes from his opponent. Well, it's time to capitalize. One good shot from the red to the black 8.
And he's just got to be careful here that he doesn't park that cue ball behind those two yellows and block himself off. It's certainly the right and middle pocket is the place for the black.
Useful shot. Center pocket to re-establish England's lead. And it's there. Gareth Hibbert and England back with their noses in front. 3-2. England's lead.
Frame 6, England to break, leading 3 frames to 2. Time running.
And frame 6.
Ball potted.
Nice split of the balls there. He's potted a red, I think I saw disappear on that break shot. See once again all the power. This red disappears into the bottom middle pocket as we look.
30
A
seconds.
quick word with Captain Lee Kendall just before the team match,
Yellow
the team
ball's
final
nominated.
took place, and didn't really pull the team together and didn't have any team meetings. They didn't have breakfast together. They've got such a seasoned crew, the England side. Lee just figures he lets every one of them prepare in their own way.
Yellow ball's in play.
Yeah, opted to take the yellows because there's a couple of awkward reds there. One that's bottom left-hand side of the table that was blocked out by a yellow. We see there just on the left-hand side, so opted to take the yellows as he feels that's where the finish is.
Yeah, I think this is the yellow that he's actually taking now is the only real tricky yellow, so he's aiming to deal with it straight away.
Clean as a whistle.
I think that's quite important when you're playing, because if you've got a tricky ball, try and deal with it in at the start of the game so that you don't leave yourself with one ball at the end and they're just going to snook you with all the other balls.
Yeah, something all the top players do, Lynette. I know you are one of the top players in the ladies' game. You'll see the top players taking out the awkward ball as early as possible. Always hoping to leave himself with an insurance ball if it goes astray.
Red ball's in play.
He hit that good. He just didn't get it over the jaws, and I think he expected to make that one. Ian did. But he still got control of the one corner pocket. On the left-hand side as we look is yellow in front of that red. So an awful lot of work to do here for Jamie Stevens.
Yeah, first look at Jamie Stevens here out in the final. Again, one of the new faces of the Australian squad this year. I think he may have been over here once before a few years
30
back, but
seconds.
certainly not been a regular. A little bit luck there, just flirting with the middle pocket, caught the knuckle.
Come on, Jamie, come on, mate.
Australia always bring a ton of pride into any team competition that they're in. Heart and soul, they leave everything on the pitch, don't they?
Not only that though, Jim, but I always find that the ultimate sportsman, if there's a situation where a foul's been played and there might have not have been a referee in attendance, you'll always say that was a foul. You know, they're a very sporting nation, certainly on the Green Bays. I've seen many a times some of the players that come over here. Mick Delahunty, when he played, he was James's father. He was one of the most sporting players I've ever met.
30 seconds.
Between us and you.
Oh, yellow's open.
Oh dear, missing that double is let Ian Hubbard step in now, and he should clear the table from here. Just compose himself.
Well, he is under a bit of pressure, though, Lynette, certainly if for no other reason than the obvious. The reds are open as well, so a miss from Ian Hubbard would certainly be punishable.
.30 seconds.
You'll see here, you won't see Ian Hubbard rushing around the table. He's taking it nice and steady. To play that with the pace to get back over the table. That yellow into the top right-hand corner pocket.
Murphy's Law, though, it looks like that cue ball has landed where he'd be hampered over that red on the intended yellow.
Yeah, he's left himself a tricky shot, really. It's not easy cueing over the red to pot this down the rail.
.30 seconds.
It's funny how you always seem to find these obstacles, you know, anywhere else down that line. And they've been perfect.
Oh, that couldn't have worked out any better. He's even bumped the yellow towards the center. England like it. I guarantee you Ian Hubbard does.
That was a beautiful shot. He actually hit that really well.
As you say, he's making a very tricky finish now. Look fairly straightforward. He's just going to have one decent positional shot off his last yellow just to get onto the black. And England will be looking to extend that lead to 2 frames.
Just bump this in, hold for position, play the 8 into the bottom center pocket as we look. And England, for the first time in this final, will see themselves 2 frames clear. Still, you take nothing for granted. Oh, he just slightly overhit that. Just made it a little trickier than it needed to be. You still have to expect him to get this.
Yeah, it's just always makes it more awkward, Lynette, when that cue ball's closer to the black, or any object ball for that matter.
Yeah, it was going close to the black there. I thought it was going to go too close, but he has got a shot on this, and I expect him to pot this.
And potted he does. Ian Hubbard stakes England to a 2-frame lead. 4-2 now over Australia. Frame number 8, a vital one for Australia. It's 5-2 to England. Adam Davis at the table, looking to pull his side one step closer to the team crown. Standing in his way, John Wheeler from Australia.
Ball spotted.
No, Adam, not too successful in his opening frame against Australia here. He lost to James Delahunty, so he'll want to try and get back to a 50-50 record, and that means a win over Wheeler.
Yeah, in fairness, he was parked in his chair for most of that, all of that frame. James Delahunty came to the table, broken fit and cleared. He's just not been left in an ideal position here, though, has he, Lynette?
He's split the balls beautiful, but he's not got an easy first shot. I think he's going for the yellow. He's going for the red.
Seconds.
He's actually going to pot it off the cushion. And by potting that now, he's in a good position. He's just got one ball to develop, and that's the red that's blocked by the yellow.
Yeah, we see
on
that.
the overhead camera.
Yeah, bottom left there on the overhead. You see that yellow is blocking that path of that red.
Now, if you can play a nice drop shot with the red in the centre of them three reds, then he could actually take it in the overhead camera, the top right-hand pocket.
30 seconds.
He just has to finish perfect to just drop this red in the centre on this shot. Or he could actually, where he's actually landed, he could actually nudge that red further towards the pocket.
I just think he might have left himself an angle, as you say, Lynette, to drop in behind that red here. Well, no, he's not doing that.
Right, the other option he's got now is actually to pot the red off the yellow, bounce the yellow out the pocket, and then he's got a free pocket to pot the red in.
Yeah, this is a man you wanted to open up for you in the second half of this game. It would be Adam Davis, semi-finalist in last year's World Championship.
I think he would like to have been straighter on this red, to be honest.
It just makes it that little bit more awkward. If you're queuing right behind the red, you can see the shot into the jaw of the pocket.
Now we can actually screw this red and get behind the two yellows on the overhead camera at the top right of the table and just get. Oh no, he's taking the other red, and he's going to leave that till later.
It certainly does afford the best position to the 8, no question, but as stated, that one problem red. Going to have to drop onto that at some stage.
I think I was saying earlier, you try and get rid of your problem balls earlier in the game, so you're not relying on lady luck.
Well, the bar is open. Key shot here. Beautifully played. Cleared the pocket. He couldn't have struck that any better. What a great shot from Adam Davis there. And again, expecting to get this 8 and pull his teammates a little closer to the title, one they've owned the last 2 years. Down it goes. Where's the cue ball?
Foul.
That went straight in. And loss of frame. How quickly it can turn. And that is a cruel exchange. Believe me, just like that, Australia secures the frame. Back to 5-3. Watch it again. Did not negotiate the contact onto that yellow. That's cruel.
Hi there, welcome back to Blackpool. More action coming your way from the Foster's World 8-Ball Pool event. This time we're enjoying the men's championship. It's the team event between England, the defending champions, and Australia. At the moment it would appear that England are starting to edge ahead, but you never know with the Australians. It's rather like the Ashes. Dangerous people to ride off at this stage. Let's see what happens as we go back to the action.
5-3. Frame number 9. And a great start again for Delahunty.
Come on, Della. Come on, Mike.
Red ball nominated.
James Delahunty here up against the England reserve in the first half of the match, Danny Miller. And once again, James Delahunty's coming to the table, having finished in the first frame. He has got an excellent opportunity to see there. Young Danny Miller just parked in his chair at the moment, and he'll be hoping for an opportunity to get his hand on the green baize.
I actually saw young Danny in the hallway earlier today, and what a proud walk. So much pride in the experience he's going to gain. Certainly doesn't want it to be a baptism of fire against Delahunty here. But of all the players on Team Australia, this man has looked the steadiest and the most confident.
Yeah, certainly. He's got an unusual cueing action, I think, when you see him get down. He actually cues to the side. The cues to the side of his face, which is unusual on it, isn't it?
Yeah, some players do that. He actually cues with his master eye. It's unusual, but I think the late, great Joe Davis at snooker played similar style.
Well, yeah, he's right-eye dominant, and he just has to bend his neck a little bit, get his chin across the cue to allow that dominant eye to get over the cue, because it is so important on key balls to strike the middle of that white. And if you don't have your lead eye over the cue, what might be the center in terms of appearance from your opposite eye isn't the center.
It certainly doesn't stop him putting balls anyway.
No, he looks very good. I mean, he came out in the very first frame of this final and beat Adam Davis. I believe he broke and cleared up, so a very confident start. And again, he's doing nothing to dispel that sort of feeling here.
Yeah, it's gone just a little astray for him here, though, now, this finish with that last shot. He looks like he's going to have to play potentially a 3-ball plant here, red onto yellow onto red.
30 seconds.
Always difficult, but he's played it perfectly.
Tremendous shot.
I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed with James Delahunty. What a great player he is.
Well, he had a pretty good teacher, and he had a club to play. Mick, his dad, owning that club in Adelaide, and you can bet that this young man had a cue in his hand at a very early age. And what a performance from Delahunty. Tremendous stuff, this.
He looks so confident out there in the arena. It's not bothered him at all.
And the 8 into the right center to pull Australia closer. How big will that mistake be from Adam Davis? James Delahunty takes out Danny Miller. 5-4 now. England just in front.
Yeah, the Australians have found their voices again, the supporters, to those last 2 frames. And certainly now right back in this game.
Well, you know that Delahunty is very highly regarded when they send him out to start the final.
And you've got to feel for Danny Miller there, really. He's not actually got out of his seat.
I think you'll find that Danny Miller there, the sacrificial lamb, if you like, because he was sent out without the break in that second half of this game.
Yes, he never got a chance, young Danny. Sat beside Gareth Hibbett. You know there'll be a little consolation coming from his teammates. Nothing he could have done.
Frame 10, England to break.
Frame number 10.
5 frames to 4.
And it's a 5-4 lead, the narrowest lead for Gareth Hibbett in England. Ball down on the break.
Ball potted.
And not a bad split.
We see there the break-off shot. Gareth Hibbett, lots of power. And just 1 or 2 clusters of balls here, though, that are going to have to be negotiated if he was going to try and go game here.
You know, so often we talk about the team play and the subtle intricacies and so many things that are taken for granted from these top players. But when you go out there and you have to play 1 frame and you don't get a chance to settle in, Lynette, you know that feeling, don't you?
Yeah, it's really tough, actually, the team. It's harder than the
Yellow ball's
singles.
nominated.
The singles, you go on and you're playing first to 6, 7, 8 frames, you've got a couple of frames to relax. You can take more chances. You can't do that in the team because you've got your teammates. You know, you're playing for your team, so you're kind of a bit more cautious. You can't be attacking. You can't force the game, but at the same time, you want to win. So it's tough. I mean, like this frame here, it's a tough out really. So I think because it's team frame, you get on the table, you've not really had many shots, you're cold, so you're more likely to try and cover bags and sort of take your time.
Nobody likes to have to apologize, and if you don't give a good account of yourself, and he almost fluked the yellow, you don't give a good account of yourself, you feel like you have to go back to apologize to your teammates.
Well, that's the thing, if you lose frames in the singles, you're only letting yourself down, but you've got the team behind you.
Yeah, we see that, to replay that shot, he's hit the knuckle of the middle pocket, almost fluked into the top. Double, or attempted double from Gareth Hibbert.
This red passes. But the one certainly that would concern me is the one nearest the yellow at the bottom of the table. This one looks like it goes by that yellow.
Well, I think Mark Williams has got to try and take control of this frame here by dropping this red on the left-hand side, top left as we look now, over that corner pocket. And then there's 3 yellows that would be blocked out by it.
This is quite a difficult shot now because he's actually Chinesed over the yellow, so it's a tough shot.
Yes, a phrase used commonly in pool means you're bridging over top a ball, the Chinese snooker. Well, I don't know whether he intended to make that because he hasn't dropped onto a red, and the captain for the Australian side, quite possibly, might have bought himself a little trouble.
Now you can see that shot better there on that shot. It's quite a tough shot. He's going to try.
30 seconds.
There is actually a double on, but
can you get the cue ball out of the way?
It's tough that. I think he's going to.
Well, almost a flick off the yellow there. He didn't quite get it.
Yeah, I think had that been in line, it might well have double kissed the white. I don't think he could have got the white out of the way, but either way.
I think it was a two-way shot as well because he was obviously trying to cover the bag as well and block his yellows, which he has done. But there's a shot here where Gareth can actually pot his yellow off the red and kiss the red out of the way of them two yellows. So all of a sudden he's opening up the frame.
30 seconds.
Certainly an excellent opportunity here for Gareth Hibbert now.
Come on, Mark.
Well, Gareth actually tried to contain the frame there and just cover the bag and make sure of the bag. Possibly the reason for that is, as we were saying, he's got teammates behind him. He doesn't want to go and rely on luck of the red.
I think that's a very valid point. I believe if this was singles play and he had a lot more frames that he was going to be at the table, he might well have attacked there.
Now Mark's actually got the opportunity to play a containing shot, get the red in front of that pocket. Or you could actually pot the red off the yellow.
Yeah, I think
thus freeing up the red as well.
There's a big shot coming up here now in this match. This could be a big turning point one way or the other. If he makes the shot. And he has done. Brilliant shot there from Mark Williams.
It's a great shot there because even if he doesn't pot the red, he's took control now, and Gareth is actually in quite a lot of trouble.
Yeah, he walked back almost disappointed. He was hoping that ball might have dropped, but I mean, he's got complete control of that whole quadrant with 4 yellows down near those.
It will be interesting actually to see what the shot selection of Mark Williams here, because Mark's not known for actually playing any safety shots.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Lynette. To be interesting to see now what Mark Williams' tactical brain is like. I think you said in the first frame he plays a very attacking player. But as you see, he's looking at playing the tactical foul.
Now that's a good shot. He's actually got the yellow that was further away from the reds, nearer to the pocket, so it's blocking the pocket, and he's also set up his reds so he can actually plant them if he gets a shot at the reds.
Over the years, the one thing I have noted from Australia, I mean, this is the biggest game in Australia, bar none. Every single player, what they may lack in offensive ability, they make up for, and then some, in understanding the game and knowing the tactical side.
30 seconds.
They always bring their thinking caps to the table this side. Always.
I'm really impressed with the Australians, how gritty they are. They want to win, it's passion, they've got the real heart to win. And you know, that could win them a world title here. On paper, England have got the best players in the bag, but one frame pool, anything goes.
Well, Gareth is in trouble, and he knows it. And he's just going to have to try and contain Mark Williams yet again.
Yeah, what he's got to do, he's got to try and park the cue ball here somewhere so that Mark Williams can't get through to those yellows. Well,
he's played a really good shot there, hasn't he, Sean? He's actually put the black near the yellow, the bag that he's got covered with the yellow. So now Mark's got 2 easy reds, but the black's not that easy now. It's looking at a double if he wants to go for game.
I think you'll see him going for the game here. The problem with playing doubles on this table, though, Lynette, is very missable because they tend to slide off the cushion, don't they, when you play the double?
They do, that's the thing. It's super fine cloths. They are beautiful to play on, but they do slide all over, so it's hard to judge off the rails.
Well, he's brought himself into the area of the table to attack that double into the corner pocket. Top left. Now talk about timing. If he knocks this one in, the Australians are right in line with this. They're going to know it's in as soon as he strikes it. I don't expect this to miss by much if it does. And it didn't! 5-5. The joint's alive here in Blackpool. Australia has won the last 3 frames in a row, and they are really putting England to the test now. Look at the high fives for Mark Williams. Frame number 12, 6-5. And the main man, Gareth Potts, at the table to carry the flag.
And that is a superb split, I think, from Gareth Potts. Loads of power, you see on the replay. Cue ball, a little bit fortunate, didn't find its way into that bottom right corner. But we look at the split there. I think yellows are the order of the day here for Gareth Potts. Because he's potted a red on the break, he's actually, and he's nominated yellows, which he's allowed to do, he's got to pot the yellow to be on that suit, which I'm sure he will be doing. Just come a little bit shy on that shot, Lynette, there.
Yeah, he's got a great opportunity still, though, to clear here. I mean, it's almost a perfect break, really.
Certainly what the England team wanted. See their main man come up here.
Yes, to get them to the hill. First 1 to 8, best of 15, 6-5 to England. Gareth Potts has his way. He wants to send his good buddy Lee Kendall to the table next with a chance to win it.
You see there somebody having a bit of a bad hair day in the audience. Nice control finish here by Gareth Potts. Lynette not doing anything fancy.
He doesn't need to do anything fancy here, just drop them in and get the frame in the bag.
The characteristics of a great player. as England fans look on. Barbara Taylor even in the front row. They make it look easy, the good ones.
Gareth Potts certainly makes it look easy.
And how efficient was this?
It was textbook pool.
Surgical. Gareth Potts, 7-5 England, a break and finish. And Lee Kendall, his business partner and mate, to the table. The England captain to the table to try and close it out.
Yeah, the England supporters certainly enjoyed that finish from Gareth Potts. You see they're just discussing with Neil Toms, explaining where he's gone there.
So Jamie Stevens is called upon from Australia.
Didn't enjoy any success in his first frame. He came up against the experienced Ian Hubbard. But it'll be him to break in this frame against England captain Lee Kendall. So he'll be hoping that he gets a better opportunity maybe in this second half. See once again, just inspecting the rack. He's not happy, so he just wants to make sure all of those balls are perfectly touching to give him the best opportunity of getting Australia back into this game.
Come on, Solid. Come on, Solid.
See the nod of the head and he's happy now.
Frame number 13.
Australia to break.
And Robert Shaw hands the cue ball to Jamie Stevens. Team Australia can't afford another loss. And they can ill afford a dry break either.
Been a little bit fortunate there that cue ball's come to rest behind the two reds. A little wry smile from Lee Kendall there.
This is the sort of thing you dream about as a child, being able to come out and represent your country with the opportunity to pocket a winning ball.
That's right, and Lee Kendall's actually won 12 world team titles. So possibly he'd be able to seal the 13th.
30 seconds.
Certainly Lee Kendall won't be too concerned about the lie of the land here. So one of the great tacticians, one of the great potters as well. Good all-round game.
Red ball's in play.
Excellent opening pot from Lee Kendall.
Yeah, that's a perfect shot there to get the red. That's the red on the bottom right-hand pocket. Kiss the yellow out the way, and he can take the red in the middle.
Yeah, as you see on the overhead, that shot you're talking about, I think he's actually looking to maybe just take control of the other corner pocket here. I don't think the red passes. That's exactly what he's done. You've seen he's parked that cue ball right behind the red again.
Adam Davis, look at him, his eyes wide open. I think England sense it. Their captain is in control of this frame.
He is, and he's done completely the right shot. I mean, don't listen to me.
Well, it's very easy to sit here sometimes like that and you pick the shot that you'd probably play, but say each player has their own preference about how they go about finishes and how they go about the safety.
I have to say I'm probably a much better singles player. You know, I'm probably too attacking. When it comes to team, you have to be a bit cautious.
Well, Jamie Stevens knows about being cautious. He's got a fox by the tail here.
Yeah, but Lee Kendall is a slippery fox. He's going to have to hang on to his tail tightly. If Lee Kendall, he's going to prevent Lee Kendall from securing that 13th world crown for the England men's team. Again, Lee Kendall just manoeuvring his balls into a potable position here, Lynette.
Yeah, he's just setting them up and then he can just plop them all in.
.30 seconds.
Nice shot there from Stevens. He's just tried to take control of that corner pocket.
Yeah, he played that really nice.
The
I
only
think that
thing
was the best shot from there, actually, Sean. To take control of that pocket and give himself a chance.
The only thing he has done, though, is give Lee Kendall a chance to get certainly one of those reds out straight away. You see there the Australian captain, the facial expression.
Yes, John Wheeler, Mark Williams, and
30
the lot,
seconds.
as we see Mark in the center. So many of the elder statesmen and some of the young faces, they really hoped it was going to be a mix that would bring success. And after a great win over Wales in the semifinals from 10-6 down to win 11-10, they probably felt that fate might be smiling on them in 2009.
Lee Kendall's got almost a free shot at this, Lynette, because he's got the yellows tied up at the top end of the table. He can just get this red out.
Yeah, that's right. Oh. Oh, he's tied that yellow up. Now he's in big trouble.
I'm not sure.
Jamie's in big trouble here.
I'm not sure if Lee Kendall, sorry Lynette, whether he was trying to pot the red off the yellow.
I think he was trying to pot the red in the centre bag off the yellow. I don't think he intended for the yellow to go so far up towards the red at the bottom pocket. In fact, actually on the camera, the yellow does pass.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that he's now given Jamie Stevens some hope in this frame. I think that the middle one of the three yellows at the top of the table passes to the top right. You see on the overhead there, yes. The other one then he can take back into the middle pocket where the black is, and he's just going to have that one awkward one.
And I'm not sure he's actually covered that pocket there. I think the red can get past.
Well, I think it can too, Lynette. But still, this frame very much in the balance. Lee Kendall's one red nearest the top right. Doesn't look to be available anywhere. And if it was, he could knock this long red in. It would be a frame winning chance, frame and match winning chance.
This is a tricky shot though, because he is hampered by the yellow queuing.
Oh, he hit it as well as he could. I mean, that shot looked tough even from the commentary box.
Yeah, I didn't fancy it. I didn't fancy taking it.
You see there the staring eyes of Lee Kendall. Can't believe that stayed out.
Now, does Jamie try and take the finish on here? He's got an awkward yellow as well.
30 seconds.
Left himself in a little bit of no man's land there, middle of the table. He's going to be forced to take the one that's over the top right-hand corner as we look on the overhead. Or if that's if he's going for the finish. It could be that he just tries to play a containing shot here. You see their Australian teammates, they're discussing, James Delahunty's got a good idea of what he would be doing if he was at the table.
Great shot. Perfect.
Absolutely superb.
One good shot has now opened it up, and he's actually got a relatively straightforward finish on.
Come on, Steve. Come on, buddy.
He's a real fan, this young man. He came up to me in the bar the other night and was asking me a few questions. He loves the sport.
Come on, Mike.
Come on, Steve. Come on, Solomon. Come on.
Come on, Mike.
Yeah, I think he certainly enjoyed himself at these championships. You've seen him all around the venue, snapping away with his camera. He certainly wants to take some happy memories back to Australia, and I'm sure taking this frame would be one of those big memories, certainly for Australia to go on and lift the crown of World Team Champions.
30 seconds.
One good positional shot from the second to last yellow to the other. Mark Williams smiling from ear to ear. I think he senses that this final is going to last a little longer. It's going to take a good shot here. Oh, he's overhit it.
Come on, Steve. Come on, Mike.
Certainly overcut that. The adrenaline's rushing there in the veins. He's flicked the black as well on the way through.
And this is a tricky shot now, this Shelley. He's going to have to come round the table off 3 cushions to take the black in the centre. If he takes it in the top corner pocket.
Yeah, you can see just overran intended position. And this will be some shot. And it looks like it is. Great recovery. Jamie Stevens, come on down. It's not over yet. Lee Kendall has lost both his frames. The captain, who would believe that? But Australia still in with a chance. 7-6. Frame number 14, 7-6 to England. Few expected them to be pushed like this, except the Australians. And nothing down. The pressure cooker that is the Foster's World 8-Ball Team Championships. A few have succumbed. A few have risen. And who's going to be the last one standing?
This is actually a rerun here of the first session.
30 seconds.
Go, Timmy. Come on.
Red ball's in play.
Ben Flack defeated Tim Shelton to take a 5-2 lead for England, and since then the Australians have taken 4 out of the next 6 frames, pulled themselves right back into this match. Tim Shelton's got a little bit to work to do here. He's got 1 red that's parked in the middle of those 4 yellows. Somehow he's going to have to get through to that.
Tim looked very edgy in losing his first frame to Ben Flack. I mean, these are moments that you'll remember for the rest of your life. And you want them to be positive memories.
Thirty seconds.
Yes.
Oh, if this one passes, and the Australians think it does, that was a great shot. It certainly has developed the situation. Now, can he knock this red in, take the cue ball over, and free the black?
Well, that's the shot he should be looking
that's
at.
the shot he's looking at now. He certainly looks a different player from when he played Ben last time.
Come on, buddy.
That was the shot we saw there once again, developing that red out. And as you say, he just needs that one more little bit of luck here just to get that black out into play and leave himself on a shot.
He's not taken it yet. I think actually the time was that shot really to develop that black, because he could have played into the yellow, just flick the black, free the black, and also he had the red that he just potted to play with, you know, to play on that. So he wasn't going to snooker himself. He had a pot there, and now he's going to be in trouble really.
Well, Ben Flack is smiling in his chair. I mean, I think he feels that his opponent took the wrong ball.
30 seconds.
I just hope he's not leaving this the developing of the black too late.
And again, if he wanted to develop the black, I don't think he would have drawn back there.
The thing is, if you've got problem balls, you don't do it. You don't leave it till later, because you've got less balls to play on. He's going to have to play a good shot and rely on luck here to get on the next red.
I'm really not sure of his thought processes, but I know when Australia jumped out of their chairs, the one shot that Tim played, they felt that he had the perfect angle on that one red nearest the black to be able to develop it. He dropped onto it, and that was always going to be an awkward one. So here's the moment. He's got to knock this in, develop the black, and drop on the other red.
Missed it.
See, it was a much harder pot as well. Instead of taking the easier red, getting the black out, he's put a lot of pressure on himself to pot that.
Yeah, and although his teammates can't actually advise him of what shot to play under the coaching rule, I'm sure all the shouting and the noise they made when he got into that position must have given him the idea that that was the shot next.
Good point, Sean, because you know that every one of those Australians would like to have told Tim to shoot the other red. But under the rules, you can't do that.
30 seconds.
Saying that, it's so easy sitting here though. Out there, your mind's racing.
Yeah, one thing Lee Kendall's been talking about as well, we know we only have 1 minute to play a shot. Lee Kendall's been in favour of being able to call maybe an extension on that time rule, so when you know you're in trouble.
All right, sure.
30 seconds.
Well, that cue ball menacingly close to that corner pocket, but the yellows are open. This is half a chance here for Ben Flack. This is where your nerve, your mind, and your back arm all have to be in sync. And he's looking at the two awkward yellows to try and improve his position, so he's not attacking yet.
I just wonder if he's going to try and take the right-hand one of the two yellows down the rail past the red and then leave the cue ball parked behind the yellow. So he's actually leaving snookered.
That's a great shot.
Superb shot there from Ben Flack.
He's bouncing away Tim Shelton's red towards the other pocket, and he was hoping to get the yellow in control over the pocket.
Come on, Tim.
He's in Dickie's meadow. Here is Tim Shelton.
Okay, you've got to enlighten me with that one. He's always looked nervous to me, right from the outset. His facial expressions.
No, he's played that really well. He doesn't want it to drop.
Fantastic shot there from Tim Shelton. pulled himself right back into this frame, Lynette.
He has, from Dickie's Meadow. He's now in control. Just shows one shot pulled out the bag, it can just turn the game completely.
Just shows the value there of Ben Flack. Didn't actually cover that pocket with the yellow, as Lynette had suggested he should have been trying to do. Now, from being in a match-winning situation, he's now going to have to get himself back into this frame again.
Interesting situation. He's covered the one red, the only red that Tim Shelton can see. He would have to pocket. And I think that's exactly what Ben Flack wants him to do.
Yeah, he's put distance between the ball and he's forcing him to play the red over the pocket, so he loses control of the game.
I'm not sure we look on the overhead whether you can actually see that, the other red. It isn't over the pocket. Certainly looks like
30 seconds.
If he can, that's the one he must shoot.
Yeah. And I think what he should do is get it out of that area, get out into the middle of the table.
Is he playing the intentional foul?
Foul.
An odd choice of shot there from Tim Shelton. He obviously, in his own mind, he knows what he wants to do. The captain there, he's thinking, what was that for?
I think he was trying to get. I think he was trying to get the yellows nearer the red to block them, and also the blacks up this end. But he wanted to get the yellow a lot nearer to the red.
Yeah, James Delahunty, John Wheeler, and the rest of the Australian team doing their own form of commentary as to what's going on. A player like Ben Flack, when you give him that second visit, you're flirting with disaster, no question. I mean, if he can get into a position and carry that second visit to develop that difficult yellow near the bottom right corner, then he might be doing it sooner rather than later.
I think he needs to clip this half ball to get both yellows out in the open.
Dangerous shot, but I think he played it with a little bit of element said, because he had a feeling he almost certain that the red would go across the table when the yellow came off the rail, and that's exactly what's happened.
It's finished up perfect.
Yeah, he has completely reversed the situation. One more look, and you see how that one turned the tables completely on Tim Shelton.
Just one big shot here from Ben Flack.
30 seconds.
Turn the tide back in favour of England again.
I think that's the important thing when you're doing deliberate fouls. You need to get the balls really close to the ball that's blocking the pocket. I think he left him too far in the open, gave him the opportunity to knock them both out in one shot.
He would like that to have gone in. I think what he was trying to do is get the yellows away from that bottom right corner. There's still one that is in that vicinity. He's cleared one of them. He knows he owns the bottom left now. And I think the only shot really that Tim Shelton can play.
I think the only shot really is to leave a double, pop the red over the pocket, and then leave a double.
Well, I was going to say, Lynette, that he may have to try and get a bit desperate here. I really can't see. I mean, he can't play an intentional foul, try and lay a yellow on that red over the bottom corner, because he'd be giving the two visits away again.
I think that's what he's doing here. He's clipping that yellow across, Jim.
This has to be absolutely perfect.
Foul.
And it's not.
And he's far too short. That yellow needs to be almost touching that red.
I mean, Ben Flack, the shot that Ben Flack played earlier when we showed you the replay, that was the one that's completely turned the tables on Tim Shelton. Tim had control of this frame before that shot.
30 seconds.
I think Ben somewhere along the way is possibly going to waste a visit to get that yellow out again from the right-hand side. Still quite a lot of life in this frame yet. There's a lot of work to be done before Ben Flack can claim this frame.
Second visit.
That's a nice shot, actually. He's got the option. He's got the option of planting the yellow by the black onto the yellow over the hole, and if he misses it, then he's still covering that red.
And that's the shot he's playing. Great minds think alike.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still not convinced, because this can go astray, this can. And he could open that pocket up if he's not careful for that red. Oh, 2 in 1 there. A little bit unlucky there, because he's not left himself now, other than the one over the pocket. As we see the England team looking on. Some looks of concern there.
I think the yellow nearest to the centre pocket, it's just a nice little delicate roll into the pocket. It's a tough shot, but you've got to play it slow.
30 seconds.
It's all about pace.
Yeah, I don't think he's going for it. He's just looking to lay the cue ball at the top end of the table and move that yellow out into a more potable position. I think that was a sensible option there for Ben Flack. Looks like he's covered the red. Maybe at the bottom left, Tim's just going and having a look.
Comfortable with his effort at the table there. And Tim Shelton right now, certainly in my opinion, and I have to believe just about everybody else in attendance here, his options are running out.
30 seconds.
Certainly nervous times here at the Imperial Hotel in Blackpool. We see there the clock running on, getting towards the 50-second mark. Shot must be played within a minute.
Come on in, Ben.
Don't understand that shot at all, Lynette.
And again, yeah, he's not played the deliberate foul well at all. He's given 2 shots, and Ben's got a great opportunity now. He's got 2 shots. He can plant that yellow onto the yellow over the pocket, and he's got 2 shots in the bag.
Yeah. He's just got to be a little bit careful that red doesn't come out and block the path of one of the yellows.
Yeah, he wants to be playing it the other side of the red.
30 seconds.
Yellow doesn't pass, I don't think.
Whether he might just have to play this really slow, Jim, and just rely on. You see, there's just a tiny gap.
It might go, actually.
Yeah, I think he can just take it into half the pocket, and played at the right speed. It will pass. Leaves the cue ball almost where it is for the yellow into the other middle pocket.
Could even play the yellow to the same pocket.
30 seconds.
And he'll hold his 2 visits onto the 8. So if this goes in,
He'll be looking at just dropping this yellow in, maybe leave himself the black as a double into the bottom left-hand corner pocket. Opted there to take the cue ball.
2 shots on the 8. This is over.
bad.
Just settling himself. His nerves must be tingling. What a moment for Ben Flack and England. It's in 13 times, champions of the world. A game fight by Australia, pulls just short. And the tumbling act from Ben Flack. 8-6. England are the Foster's World 8-ball team champions for 2009.
So, fantastic stuff, isn't it? What a finish. And Keith Brewer watching the action with me here. I mean, that was really terrific stuff, wasn't it? Very tense, but in the end, England deserved winners.
I think England are deserved winners, but I think I should give a lot of credit to Australia. They put up a really good fight today.
I think you were slightly surprised because I think you felt possibly Australia would be weaker towards the end of their lineup, and actually one or two of these guys have dug in really deep and not played badly. All right, they made the odd error, but they've really given it a go.
Yeah, and I think you've got to remember as well that, you know, it's not often they get to play in a tournament that's this big. I'm sure they have their state championships back in Australia, but they come over here to England and play us in our own country in the world final. I think they deserve a lot of credit for the way they've played.
Yes.
They've battled in, even though probably England have got the stronger outfit, man for man, they've still put up a really good fight.
And they also seem to, you were making the point during the match, they play some of the shots slightly differently. They, in some ways, interpret the game in a totally different way, some aspects of it.
Yeah, I think probably because they don't play in the big tournaments that we have over here in the UK, just some of the shots I was highlighting to you that we'd have played slightly different, but they obviously see the game a slightly different way.
OK, fine. We can now break off and hear from our losing captain, Mark Williams of Australia.
Well, Mark, it was a game fight. We expected a game fight. Australia always delivers. You fell just short.
Yes, that's right, Jim. All credit to England, you know, the professionals that they are, and they've got us once more. 4 years since we made the final. It takes a lot just to get there, and all credit to my team. They fought it out. We've been gone several times in the tournament. To get this far, just disappointing once again, but we were beaten by the better side on the day.
At 5-2 down, what did you tell your side?
Look, just hang in there, just like we've done all tournament. I said, we'll get back in there, we'll get the first three, get it back to 5-all. You never know, you know, and it was that close. You know, we had a big chance to go 6-5 up. Didn't quite get that one. It slipped away a little bit, but the boys, to their credit again, came back, never ever threw in the towel, fought it all away, and very, very proud of their effort.
And right to be proud. It was a great fight. You'll be having a beer tonight and celebrating. It'll be a nice trip home. Well done.
Thank you, Jim. Cheers, mate.
Yes, well done to the Australian team and Mark Williams. Keith, I think it's worth pointing out, we're going to hear from Lee Kendall in a moment, but worth pointing out these Australians have taken time out of their own schedule, their own money, they've paid their own way to come here and take part. I mean, all credit to them.
Yeah, that's right. It's a financial burden to them to come over as well, of course, and but they do enjoy coming over and getting involved, you know, and like you said, it's been a few years since they've made the final, and I'm sure they were excited to be back and wanted to give it their best shot, and to be fair, they did.
Well, in the end, they weren't quite good enough. We can now hear from the England captain, Lee Kendall.
13 times team champions of the world, Lee. You must be very proud.
Yeah, we've got a great team. Every year we come to this championships as favourites, and yet again the guys have pulled it off. So a great team performance. And we have to say Australia pushed us all the way. What a great team they are.
Yes, it's one thing to come to the table as favourites on paper, isn't it? You've still got to provide the goods on the table. And Australia pushed you right to the very end.
Yeah, at 5-2 we thought, you know, we're going to run away with this match, but they showed the character. They got back to 5-all, we were under pressure all the way, and it was a great match.
Now at 5-5, Lee, any words for the team?
No, just keep going. You know, we expected to win the match still, but you know, it's a long way to go. We've got to get to 8, both teams. Tough match.
Well, listen, you'll be celebrating tonight. Team England, you can be very proud. You come in every year as favourites, Lee. Enjoy the evening. Well done.
Thanks very much.
So well done to England and Lee Kendall, the captain there. So there we are. That's it for this time. Hope you've enjoyed it. Terrific stuff here in Blackpool, and all credit to England. Australia, as we said earlier, very tough opposition. You can never, ever write them off. Let's just get a final thought then from Keith about the way that match went. We thought possibly it would turn out differently, but in the end, it went almost to the wire.
I think, if I was being honest, you know, I think we all fancied England to win it. They've probably got the best team here, but what you expect off the other countries is a good fight, and we know with Australia we're always going to get that. I thought England would probably have won a little bit easier. At 5-2, you know, you're thinking, well, they're probably going to run away with it. I think Lee just said that himself. They probably felt that. But I'll tell you, a big frame there was Adams, where he's potted the black and gone in off, and that kind of like brought Australia right back into the game.
Right, now let's round things off. It's time for the presentations.
Yes, another epic team final. And at this time, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to bring out our presentation party. Firstly, our tournament director, Mr. Alan Benton, followed by the regional marketing manager for Foster's, Mr. Rick Eastwood. And the presentation of the Foster's World 8-Ball Team Championship to Team England.
So there we are, that's it for this time. Hope you've enjoyed it. A great effort from England. They are holding on to their title. We'll see what happens to them next year. In the meantime, from all of us here at Blackpool, it's goodbye. Join us next time.